A duck is a duck. I don't want to hear nothing else. You know what it is. You know what I'm saying. The boy Gervonta Tank Davis got Vasiliy Lomachenko. He running and hiding and ducking. You hate to see it. I had to remind y'all do a follow-up video. Now listen, check out the first video where I broke the news. Lomachenko is out. He drops out. He was in deep negotiations to fight Gervonta Davis, but at some point, I guess he elected that he don't even want to fight. That, to me, is sus, and I'm going to explain why. Because here's the thing. It wasn't because you got lowballed. It wasn't because of a certain deal point. The reason he cited for not being excited to fight for a unification or in a unification with the Ring Magazine belt is that he was not motivated. He was saying that basically he wants to take the rest of the year off and he's not motivated to face Gervonta Davis. To me, this is very poor from a champion, right? You just fought George Kambosos in Australia. So what a coinky dink. You were motivated to fight him, but then all of a sudden your emotion is fleeting when it comes to fighting a more dangerous fight than Kambosos. So it seems like Lomachenko might be in the space where he knows how dangerous Tank Davis is, and he's not motivated to get his brains knocked out. So he's looking to, in essence, rob the bank. Like if it's George Kambosos, someone he's heavily favored to beat, or let's say a guy like Maxie Hughes, then he stylistically would be favored versus those type of guys. That's what it, put it this way. If he was going to fight Maxie Hughes, who just lost to Zepeda, right? I guarantee you he'd be motivated if that was what Top Rank had on the platter. However, Top Rank don't have that many options. They just likely lost Shakur Stevenson. So as a result, Lomachenko is kind of forced to have a big fight. Teofimo's in the new division. It don't look like Lomachenko want to move up to 140 to fight him. They just lost Shakur Stevenson, as I mentioned. Frank Martin just got knocked out. So it's like, who else does he fight? Pitbull, Rayo, they're at 40, and they already have an upcoming fight in August. So Lomachenko, a champion, would rather sit on the shelf at his age, 36, 37, or whatever age he is, rather than fight Tank Davis. And again, I think that's poor. Vacate your belt, get rid of your belt, and stop holding the division up. Tank is training. Tank is in shape. There's videos and pictures that have leaked online, and it shows that. And I find it hilarious. Old media, they suffering, succotash, right? Because they are doing all these mental gymnastics to try to find a way to make it so Lomachenko doesn't look like he's ducking. You know, I've seen pretty much everything under the sun. People have said stuff like, oh, Lomachenko's just repaying the favor. This by far is one of the worst narratives in current boxing. You're alleging that Lomachenko was ducked by Gervonta Davis. But the difference between me and them, on top of me, I've been in the game, I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. The big difference is they can't show receipts. Name this time, this alleged time, where Tank, he was in negotiations with Lomachenko and he did this, where he was in deep negotiations, everything was going smoothly, and then he just pulled out of nowhere and said he wanted to spend time with his daughter. You know, he wanted to spend time with his kids and family and didn't want to fight Lomachenko. In fact, this has never happened. I'll spare you the drama. And if it has happened and they want to denounce what I'm saying, then you show me with receipts in the comment section, which I know you can't do, where Lomachenko, his side, and Tank's side were in any type of negotiations and Tank pulled out. So what are people talking about saying that Loma's repaying the favor? How do you repay the favor if a person didn't do this to you? And if you think Lomachenko was ducked, then provide the receipts. Everything I say, I could provide receipts to it. But as I stated, I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to this. I wrote you a manual. And the reality is, these dudes will be like in the comment section, oh, come on, Ego. Oh, Ego, you're lying. Oh, Ego, you're wrong. You're wrong. They'll say goofy stuff like that. But what they won't do is prove me wrong. I'm not asking for anything else. I'm making my intentions known. I'm making my thoughts clear. I'm spelling it out. It's very cohesive. If you think I am wrong, prove me wrong with credible receipts. But again, me being a master at my craft, I know you can't do that. So these people look stupid because they're claiming that Tank ducked. Just because people call out someone, you have to understand boxing as a business. Just because someone calls you out and the fight doesn't happen, that's not necessarily a duck, because if that's the case, look at this new generation. Keyshawn Davis, he's saying he wants to fight Gervonta Davis. He wants to fight Teofimo. He says he'll fight Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia says he'll fight Shakur. Shakur says he'll fight Ryan Garcia at 144. None of these fights have happened, by the way. So is everybody that I just mentioned ducking each other? You know, or do you have to look into it? Hey, okay, Ryan is suspended, so he can't fight nobody. So no matter who's calling out who, Shakur calling out Ryan, it's not going to happen because he's suspended. So you have to look at the variables and the realities of the situation. Lomachenko really has no sound excuse to not fight Gervonta Davis or want the opportunity. It's an incentivized fight. It'll probably be a career high payday for him. It's an anticipated fight. I even seen people who don't like Gervonta Davis saying they would pay for the fight, right? Because Lomachenko or whatever, right? Plus Tank carries a huge following and it's just a good fight. Two of the best southpaws in lightweight, and then Lomachenko's just simply not in the mood. I don't care what none of y'all saying. That's a duck. A duck is a duck is a duck. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it gotta be a duck. Even look at Lomachenko's contemporary, his friend, Alexander Usyk. Alexander Usyk has just been on recent interviews stating he missed the birth of his child because he thought he was fighting Tyson Fury, who pulled out with injury, and then he later fought and then he beat him. But the point is, he said he's missed his kids' birthdays and he missed the birth of probably his newest child because he was training for the fight. So if he can make sacrifices like that, missing the birth of his newborn child, you know, but Lomachenko just can't motivate himself to fight Tank despite the value of the fight and, you know, not just the finances, but that's an element of it. And he's just not in the mood. It's hard to believe. And again, I ask you this. If Lomachenko was going to fight a cupcake, a scrub, somebody not as dangerous as Tank Davis, like a guy that he was heavily favored to beat, and Top Rank said, hey, we'll give you 2, 3, 4 million to fight Maxie Hughes or something, you think he would be motivated to fight? So it's a duck. If you're not motivated because of who you're facing. And, you know, at the end of the day, I get it. Some people aren't built like that. And it's hard to get motivated to get knocked out. And that's what I think would happen if Tank fought Lomachenko. That's my honest prediction. But nonetheless, I'm a boxing fan, so I want to see it. Let me see it. I want to see it. So I just had to make this follow-up video to taunt you and clown y'all, because you have old media and the usual suspects doing all these mental gymnastics to try to justify or save face for Lomachenko as to why, oh man, he got to spend some time with his kids, and oh, Tank did this to him. Bro, nobody's trying to hear none of that. It was a great fight. It made sense. Everything was pretty much laid out, going smooth, and Lomachenko ducked. You can say whatever you want. You can cry and dislike the video, cry in the comment section. I feast off of your tears. But just know Lomachenko ducked him, because as I said in the first video, just put yourself in this mindset. If you are so-called chasing somebody and they are running, and then they get tired of running, just hypothetically, they get tired of running and you were chasing them to fight them, they stop running and they put their dukes up and they're like, come on, let's have at it. Then you're like, boom, it's go time. This is exactly what I was chasing them for. I cornered them, or they ran out of, cardio and oxygen to keep running. So now I have them where I want them, right? So that would be to your benefit. You're like, yes, finally they stopped running. Now I can put my hands on them. So if that really was the case, what the usual suspects in old media were saying, then you have Gervonta Davis, who quote unquote stopped running, which we know is cap, but we're spitballing because I like to put myself in the shoes of what the ops are saying, because I can show you that it makes no sense. You finally cornered him, you got him to stop running, and then you say, you know what? I don't even want to fight. What are we fighting for? I got other things to do. I left my stove on. Bro, you weak. There's no other way to put it. You can't chase, and then come close to whatever your goal is and then walk away. You know what I mean? That's like going to medical school for 8 years, going to try to pass the bar, and then it comes time to do the bar exam, and then you say, you know what, I've been in school all these years, I don't even want to pass the bar. Like, you should have made your mind up and decided that a lot sooner. Horrible. Lomachenko ducked.